It's 4 p.m. Stand up. It's count time. It's time for every man and woman to stand up and be counted. And I'm Brother L.D. Azober, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Count Time Podcast. Now, we rolling right along here today. Now, I've looked long and hard and far. I went all the way to Patterson, Louisiana, and found a dear friend, a brother of mine, who we've been knowing each other for quite some time. I have here a tiger, one of the best ever came through, one ever to grace the field of LSU. I have here Mr. Dalton Hilliard. Welcome to Count Time.
It's always a pleasure, Lana, being able to have an opportunity to speak with you. You know, you're one of my homeboys. You know, you're from Franklin, I'm from Patterson, so we got a lot in common.
And always have been you've meant a lot to me in so many ways. I'm just going to tell you one experience that I had many years ago, and you showed me who you were. I called you one day. I just opened up Buffalo Wing Express. Yeah, I think it was your first year in New Orleans. And I called you and said, DT, Dalton, I need for you to come do a signing for me. I called a couple other guys to come do an autograph signing at the restaurant. Only one person showed up. That was my homeboy. That was you. And for that, since that day, that always have meant a lot to me, because I knew what type of man you were, what you stood for, and you was a man of your word. And that always that just touched me, and I appreciate that. And I never told you about that. I've always been. You remember that day you came over there and signed?
I remember that day, man. It was, you know, when you call a person like you, Lyman, respect and the way I was raised, you know, coming from St. Mary Parish, you look at the individuals who have done things before you, men who have accomplished goals that you were trying to reach, opportunities that you have had and took advantage of and put some work, put some effort in, and been able to get it accomplished. And as a young man growing up, you know, those kind of value was installed in me. You know, so seeing you, knowing you, watching you play LSU, growing up as a young man, young kid, you know, you develop that respect for people who've done it before you.
Man, but and I like to say once again to this day, that had to be, almost 40 years ago. No, to be precise, that was 34 years ago.
Really?
That was 34. I opened up, I came either 86 or 87. But you came up, you was the only one to show up to sign autograph, and I was located off of Highland and Lee Drive. And you showed up, and I truly appreciate that, man, and what you've done. Now, you come from a town where we come from a little area. Mm-hmm. You come from a family of athletes. I mean, it was the Hilliards and the Francis. Y'all ran deep. Y'all was a group. There was two families: the Hilliards family and the Francis family, who everybody loved and respected. With all those boys, all those young men, but who all was given a lot of respect. You know, everybody held y'all up in honor. When we talk about the Hilliards, or we talk about the Francis, like what his name, Wallace Francis, or and Harrison Francis. Then we go over to the Hilliards. As little boys, watch your brothers that played softball. Everybody played softball back then.
Correct.
Matter of fact, football was nowhere on the radar, right? And we all ended up playing football. It's interesting.
Yeah, we grew up playing sports, and you know, it's baseball, basketball, football. We all enjoyed the game. Of course, growing up as a young man, baseball was sort of a difficult sport that we really enjoyed. We took up softball, playing that slow pitch softball with my brothers. Being the youngest of five, followed them around, watched them grow and develop, and become talented athletes in the communities. And in Patterson, you know, we had a lot of talented young men, families. You know, you down there had the Francis, you had the Williams, the Butlers, you know, you name it. And we all played together and got along together. But watching my brothers play and perform, that's what I wanted to be, just like them as well. I love that attention. People don't realize that, to the point where you do something good and people look at you and cheer for you, acknowledge you. You know, you try to you embrace it.
Matter of fact, you just, as a young man, you just want to see people, you want to make people happy. You know, and something that small, that little, a couple of little small country town, well, it ain't much happening, but people do acknowledge you, they do give you praise, but to see you have the ability to touch other people's lives in athletics, that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, and you want to be part of that. You want to continue to do that. You know, you want to continue to develop that. Small community like we have, you know, we raised each other. You know, you go right around the corner, you know, my mom have some friends would tell them, hey, Dalton is doing this, and Dalton get home, and Dalton
take care. They're gonna take care of it. Don't worry about this.
Yeah. You know, be disciplined about it. So it's a village, and everybody in that neighborhood take care of each other.
And I must say this: when he say village for real, he come from a village. That was a village at that time. Small community.
Everybody got along, brother.
Yeah, right. Everybody got along. Now we all know when you mentioned the Hilliard boys or the Hilliard men, y'all had this one similarity. Them big old legs, right? So where did that come from? About them big old thighs?
You know, the development of this natural breed, you know, from where we come from. You know, my mother, my father, the mixture. You know how that family mixture just come about and develop, and everybody have that similarity in the family. You know, believe it or not, I had a brother who was the oldest brother. You know, he was probably the only one over 6 foot. You know,
right, okay, yeah, that was a big one. He was a big one.
Yeah. Nobody in our family is over 6 foot.
And that's the one that used to hit the home run.
Well, he definitely was one that started the phase of the game in the sports and arena and what we played in. But we have other brothers like Ivory and Larry. You know, Ivory was one of the aggressive baseball players around. You know, but then come Larry, then my brother Curtis, who was right before me. You know, so those 4 guys, I watched them develop and grow and get that attention and that notoriety. You know, and so hey, I love to see it, man. I want to be part of it.
But I guess you know you having 4 brothers to precede you.
Yeah.
And you watching them, and you just waiting like, oh, when I'm gonna get mine, you know. Now you wait for that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, coming up, they always have to bring me with them, especially my brother Curtis. You know, Curtis is probably 3 years older than me, so my mother used to always have him bring me with him everywhere he go, and he didn't. But the strange thing, I mean, you know, I had the ability to compete at that level with my older brothers.
At that age,
friends at that age.
3 years
to get involved with that. You know, and hey, as a freshman, you know, and playing in high school, you know, I developed a relationship with my seniors, the seniors of that year. So 2 years before me, all those guys understood that maybe I had something in me that I probably didn't know at that time.
right, that's what happened.
So they probably, you know, left me alone and allowed me to come in. Plus, I didn't say much at all. I was quiet, you know, so they respected that part of me, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, hold on. It's almost 50 years later. Much of that has not changed. You've always been quiet, but unassuming now.
Not assuming to the point I'm becoming more aggressively speaking. You know, have an opportunity to sit with you, man, and chat with you, and probably share my story, my history a little bit. Is something out of the ordinary for me. But hey, it's about that time, you know.
Right. And I truly let y'all know, I truly appreciate that because this was not easy. You know, it was not easy, but because you got to understand the man. And this brother named Dalton, what's really in him. He's really one of the best people I ever known. I remember that day when you kind of, I'm going to say it like this here. When you arrived to LSU, right, I got some calls. Because I was in Atlanta.
Correct.
No, I was home. I'm sorry, I had gotten hurt when you had gotten there. Because you got there what year?
82.
82, okay. And it's the first thing I heard, man, big cheese, big Lenny, Boyce, and Ramsey daughter. Man, I don't know, bro, homeboy, man, he kept making us go over and over again. Because they say whatever reason, when you hit that line, they couldn't touch you. So they said, what's going on? So they made a random, Coach Jenkins made a random play again, made him run that defense again. I think it was like 3 or 4 times straight. So you just ran straight up the middle, untouched. You remember that the first time in LSU?
Oh, yeah, let's go way back, but the philosophy of it, the stories, you know, still being talked about. You know,
still being talked about.
My freshman year when we get together, you know, the guys,
okay,
those guys, you know, you talk about what we experienced during that time, man. I was just a young man just trying to understand and realize coming from a small place. And Gary James came in, Carl Bernard came in the game, and I think Gail Finnerty was selected as well as running back.
And James at that time was the big name guy.
Yes, he was the more popular guy. He was a highly recruited guy.
And he's no longer with us, and we missed our brother. He's been gone for quite some time. Gary.
Gary is, he's here.
Gary's here.
Yeah.
Where Gary at, man?
Gary is, from what I understand, is in the Plaza.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about our friend who played with me from Homer, Jesse Miles.
Yes.
I'm thinking about Jesse
I was
Miles. I'm
about
sorry.
to mention
Yeah,
Jesse.
Jesse Miles.
Yeah.
Jesse, I'm thinking about Jesse's no longer with us.
Yes,
He's been
yes.
gone for quite some time.
Correct. And Jesse was running back starting that time.
Yeah, I was here. Jesse came a year after me. Jesse was a good running back too.
Yes, and wonderful person as well.
Just quiet, just kind of just like you.
I admired him and looked up to him as well and watched him perform. And he took the change gracefully, and he wasn't a person that was outraged about it. Being a senior, that
He was a senior when you showed up.
and the changes that he saw that took place, that he didn't play as much at all during his senior year. But I do remember myself. I'm going to tell you this story. A lot of people probably don't realize it, that we went to the Orange Bowl my freshman year. And
Jerry Stovall's third years.
Well,
Second years.
second or third, but it's my first year, and we acknowledged Jesse as the starting running back that game because of his last game as a senior in the Orange Bowl. And Coach Stovall honored that. He realized, he understood the magnitude of the type of game, but he understood the passion that we had for Jesse because of the attitude he played with throughout that whole senior year. And you had Gary and myself spending all that time at the running back position. So, we had a lot of talented running backs my freshman year. Even Herman Fontenot, Eric Martin, believe it or not, was running backs.
I mean, and them both of them some big old boys too. Yeah. They was two big running
guys to wide receiver because of myself and Gary James. So we made some adjustments.
And what was amazing, those two guys flourished at wide receiver and played in the NFL at wide receiver.
Correct. And Herman played as a running back for the Cleveland Browns and a fabulous running back, great running back, good running back. So at the time, going to the NFL and played wide receiver his senior year most of the time, all the time, is LSU. And went to the Cleveland Browns as running back.
I had some athletes. So now let's finish that story about your that I want to hear from you that first day when they put you at fifth string running back.
Well, you understand, I'm just looking for opportunity. My main goal was not to get hit, not to get touched. I came in as a running back, not a power back, but a elusive back, and just changing direction during my freshman year. And I was able to do that. And my coach, high school coach, Jack Andre, hey, Dalton, touch the ball, get the ball, pitch it outside to him, and just go out there and dance. I can dance on the football field, get on the dance floor, I'm tripping the ball all over. I'm one of those guys that never dance.
You can't dance, do you?
No, I don't have no rhythm.
How you get a rhythm the way you move on the field, man?
It's just something different on the football field. But on the dance floor, hey, my timing is nowhere on point. I can go on this football field, man.
You move and cut
on the dime and give you 10 pennies. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you 10 pennies back, count them back to you right there and just keep moving. And 10 pennies be set right there, as a whole dime.
But you on that dance floor?
I get on that dance floor, man, I don't have no rhythm whatsoever.
You just never practice it.
Well, that's true. I never had an interest of it. I never grew up dancing in high school. Went out there a few times and people look at me like I'm crazy, so I stayed away from the floor.
Well, then you knew that with your
it was my my wife would go out and we dated, and I'm sitting there while she danced and have a great time.
So you let her have fun, man.
Have fun, man. Then I'll be right here. Let me slow that music down a little bit, then I can get on that floor. You're going to grab somebody, put my hands around, and then I can just
hold on, man. Like I say, you can cut on a dime on a football field, and can't cut on the floor. Can't cut a step on the floor.
No, I don't have no rhythm.
I guess I never paid no attention, like you said.
You never see me dance because I'm never going out there.
So you don't get it, you don't give you that opportunity.
No, man.
They ain't gonna laugh at you.
I don't expose myself that way.
Oh, okay, man. So now when you got that opportunity at LSU the first time, and you saw the Coach Jenkins was getting mad. I mean, the offensive coach was happy, like, oh Lord, we got something here. But the defense coach was like, man, this is our first team, our first string defense.
Yeah.
We got two of the best three of the best players in the country at the time.
Well, I was recruited by a linebacker coach coming into LSU, watching me perform. And
Who recruited you?
God dang, I'm about to losing my thought right now. The linebacker coach at the time.
Moody?
Moody's my running back.
Running back coach.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but he recruited me as a running back. Had faith in me from the defensive standpoint, so he was one that saw something in me. And,
the linebacker coach saw that this boy, we need to look at him.
Yeah, he was the guy that really got me there. Until I met Coach Nader, then I was ready to go. And my high school coach told me, hey, Dalton, you can't make it at a higher level at LSU, then you can go down. You can't go up, but you can go down. LSU was the only major school recruiting me, so I just, packed my bag and just took my chance.
So you was second guessing yourself about coming to LSU?
Very much so. I really was in favor of going to Southern.
You was in favor of going to Southern?
Yes, yeah, and probably to the point, and somewhat in Tulane a little bit, but mostly enjoyable my visit to Southern and dealing with the coaches there and recruiting there. And,
now, who recruited you, baby? Who was the coach?
Brother,
I can't remember either.
This interview is going to be open. Pinpoints from many years ago, many days ago, individual. I just don't have it in me.
I can't remember the head coach at the time.
Having the opportunity and wanting to go to Southern, all Tulane, and who would want to play on the Superdome in the turf? Growing up a kid, But my mom was like, that New Orleans is too fast for you. So Baton Rouge was going to be my answer.
And at that time, LSU was just was on the scene. It was not as, you didn't see LSU games every week.
No.
At the time, they were just kind of moving into, we call that, being a powerhouse team. That was a slow process. Right after the name, I played under Charlie McClendon, and I played for Stovall his first year as head coach. And we was just like when I was being recruited by LSU, I didn't care about no LSU, to be honest with you. I didn't even know much about LSU. But I gravitated towards it because the people from the South area who loved LSU said, well, you need to go, you can play. So I guess you got pushed. And then when family stepped in, and man, you need to go to LSU over Southern or Tulane.
Yeah, and just my high school coach just convinced me. It was just an open door for, maybe Southern or Louisiana Tech in that perspective.
Yeah. You was considered undersized at the time. You was undersized.
I was a back that, that was too small, too short to the point. There was the big backs was the thing. I used to watch you and Charlie Alexander LSU, man. I remember seeing you playing football on TV, man. I had the black and white TV at home, man.
Yeah, y'all big time did that.
Yeah, we had TV, and I seen white on the back from Franklin. They say your name and say where you're from. So I watched you, and I watched Charlie Alexander run down that field, and they say his name. So I seen the little history of LSU. I didn't see no other college football team out there, so that was a pivotal point too. Just seeing you play. Of a suggestion of a reason why I wanted to go to LSU or chose LSU because of seeing you, honestly. I've seen, Lana, seeing Charlie, so I saw you, bro. You right there from Franklin. I said, I got a homeboy that's from Franklin. And I turned around and see a jersey, white on the back of that jersey.
Okay.
So, hey, why not go to LSU?
So that did weigh in.
That weighed in a whole lot. That wasn't, nothing but the strength of saying, well, I can go to LSU because I got a neighbor, I got a friend, I got somebody that's close here in that area. Everybody from Franklin. I'm from Franklin. My family's from Franklin, so I thought we might have been related, but still might.
That's it. We not. You figure what plantation came from?
Yeah. So all that was part of my decision going to LSU.
Now your family is from Franklin.
You told me before. From Franklin, man. My family is really from a smaller place in Franklin called Bayou Sally.
Bayou Sally. Yeah. That's right behind Franklin.
Right behind Franklin, Bayou Sally. Okay. And it's next to Centerville in that area and close in that area. And my family grew up in that area.
So the Hilliards and who else in your family?
Oh man, everybody. Allison, man. Hilliards, Williams, Francis, you name it.
So
Phillips, we all related in some way, in some perspective.
Okay.
And we moved to Patterson when I was 2 years old, probably back in 65, 66 or something.
Now you got to tell them what Bayou Sally is. It still is.
Yeah, it's a small community, small place. I haven't been there quite some time. My brother is buried and family is buried in the cemetery in that area. And Centerville, Bayou South is right next to that area.
Now, I don't know if you ever heard of it, but in the movie, the 12 Years of Slavery, the guy, I think it was North, I can't pronounce his name, North. He played the instrument, he played piano and whatever that other instrument was. You know, he was moved, they would bring him to Bayou Sally, right outside, back part of Centerville, to come, he would go to the plantation over there, right there off of Highway 90 in Franklin, and he would play, not in Franklin, in Centerville, and he would play his instruments, because they would bring him in just to play. He was in North Louisiana, but they moved him down south for during grinding time. We know what grinding time is. That time they start, you go into the sugarcane fields and start bringing the sugarcane into the mills and processing and sending it out. And so the Bayou Sally, if you hear Bayou Sally, you probably heard in the movie of 12 Years of Slave. I think that was 12 Years of Slave, something like that. And the man, they enslaved him for 12 years. Bayou Sally is really a small community where everybody just go fishing back there. I mean, it's a fishing community that everybody go catch a good little perch. Whatever they had back there, bush, shoot pecks.
Okay, I've heard of that. I don't eat seafood, but I heard of it.
That's where we always used to go to fish at. Your family would pack up and go to Bayou Sally. That was big time for Franklin, because that's where you go fish, crawfish, crabbing. You used to go crabbing right in those areas. Right?
Okay.
So I mean, that was a wonderful time. But of course, I didn't know you was all little children when we went. I hadn't been back there in many years.
Quite some time as well.
Yeah. So now, but you started LSU from the little town. Now I cannot believe you was heading to SU to play ball, and that is truly amazing to hear that part of your story now. And because I was heading to USL at the time, or I was heading to Thibodeau, Nicholls State, because my first cousin Ray Johnson, who was a defensive back at Nicholls State, who I grew up with, that's all I knew. LSU didn't mean nothing to me at the time. And when I went to watch LSU, it was exciting, but it's like, I wouldn't really want to come here. But Mike Foster, daddy, Murphy Foster, was one of some of the people, Dr. Sterling, attorney Terry Bro. But my mom and dad, they kind of like, they convinced them to convince me. And it was the best thing ever happened. Now, how you feel about that?
Well, I was just convinced, honestly, by watching you play on the field. I didn't have nobody but my high school coach. Say, hey, Dalton, play at a high level, see how you can perform, then you can come down. And that was it, because they were only main school. I visited LSU.
That's right, there was no one else from your area went to.
Yeah, I visited LSU and went to a game. I remember I wish I could think of the linebacker coach. I want to keep saying Coach Monica, but he was at Tulane. I can't think of it. But he was a great recruiter, good recruiter. I got along well with my mom, my high school coach. And it was just an opportunity, man. I wanted to see how good I was and if I could play at a high level. And so I just went to LSU. I didn't have a student body like you just mentioned of people talking to you, boosters or whatever. And, just hope that I had a chance. And just went to LSU. That was it.
So you just literally took a chance.
That's it. I didn't know what my skill set would have been, could have been. We had some talented running backs. I remember a guy who's I'm gonna mention his name, Bertrand Green, who played Morgan City High during my time. He went to UL, and I thought he was one of the best running backs around.
Yeah, he gonna go to UL.
He's gonna go to UL. And I'm going to play LSU. What the heck? I never heard of Gary James because that's a New Orleans market, and I didn't have him. My ears and eyes wasn't that big enough to realize that outside area besides St. Mary Parish, because I battled St. Mary Parish. Bertrand Green, Morgan City, Berwick, you had different Donaldsonville schools and Thibodeau schools, and we kept a small window of people or teams that was around. I never heard of Gary James during that time.
And he was the number one player running back in the.
When I got to LSU, my man couldn't stop talking. So I knew who he was. My boy, my best friend.
He was still alive. I'll get that straight back.
And I had a great relationship during that time. I still do. I haven't spoken in a while, but we done some great things together. But just watching you play LSU, man, and seeing number 4 Charlie, seeing football players like me.
Now let's say that when you came to LSU, Charlie was no longer there. So
correct.
But you did have a chance to meet Charlie before then?
No, I didn't. I just seen him play. I seen Eric Martin was a running back. I seen 41, scoring a touchdown, years prior to me as well. I seen Jesse Miles running the football during the time, watching on TV, and Charlie for sure prior to that, and yourself prior to that. And that was the window of football I've seen besides NFL football.
Because we didn't have access to all this stuff going on. You don't know. But people live, unless you play against the team yourself, in your district, you really didn't know too many people outside of your district.
I never knew nothing about New Orleans and what was going on with Gary, how good of a running back he was in high school at that time. So. Now
when you arrived on the LSU campus, all of a sudden now, it was what they call that, the Dalton and James?
Yes, Dalton and James game.
The Dalton and James game. Now, what was that feeling like for you? Like, hold on, man, tell me, I'm gonna get a chance to play here? Your freshman year.
Yeah.
So what happened to you at that when you saw that opportunity coming?
Well, still was amazed. I remember Stovall brought me in the week before the game and announced that, hey, I'll be starting. And I seen myself playing more and more with the first unit. After a couple of weeks.
But you still wouldn't.
Still wasn't quite sure getting an opportunity, getting chances to, But I'm running against Little Marshall, Elko, Darda, Greg Bowser, your own boy.
Greg.
I got right at my loss on the other side. I can remember everybody on that
the defense. Like you knew the defense was.
Different Holly, Eugene Daniel.
They had one of the best defensive teams.
And that team, LSU, was probably the best team I ever played with as talent collaborated together. For sure, the 4 years at LSU, that Orange Bowl team. And a lot of those guys are NFL players. You don't have that. You'll see maybe 2 or 3 guys.
Right.
You go to my freshman year and look at that defense and the starters who played in the NFL. And that's just amazing. Not just saying, can you play against all the Nebraskas, the big team? You might have 2 guys that played in the NFL who had a chance to play, or played a year or 2 years, or maybe got drafted. But that freshman team, man, you have so many guys.
Your freshman year, that defense.
Yeah, that defense
was probably 6 or 7 guys who actually drafted.
Correct. And the rest definitely played. I had an opportunity to play.
Jeffrey
Dale, Eugene Daniels, Clifford Harvard.
That's 3, and then talking about Leonard, Ramsey, right out. That's 6.
Lawrence Williams was the baddest inside linebacker. You don't even want to be around. And I had Mike Singletary too. There, you remember that? Albert Richardson.
Oh man,
Albert Richardson was the smartest linebacker you ever want to be. It reminded me of Mike Singletary to the point when I played against Mike Singletary at Chicago Bears. Albert Richardson was the smartest. Oh man, Blood, Lawrence Williams.
Them 2 inside linebackers.
Oh, he was a beast, man. He was chiseled, cut. Yeah.
And then you might hit that. They'll come in that hole. They gonna meet you in that hole.
Yeah, and it was
him and Al, man. I never.
Yeah, and you had my line right out Malone outside. And you had Greg Dubrow.
Dubrow a lot.
So I know I can name those guys because I was afraid of them so much my freshman year. Running.
So that's why you run away from. They didn't realize.
Yeah, I got those guys down, bro. I can name all those positions just on that team on the defense.
How you remember the defense that well, man?
My freshman year, I'm running for my life, man. That first 2 weeks.
So they have to make Dalton Hilliard who he is.
Yeah, they took care of me too once they realized I had an opportunity to play on Saturday.
Oh, but they love you. I'm telling you, they figured out that this young man, he's for real.
That defensive backfield, and one of the baddest DBs that really got hurt that year is on the first play, the kickoff game. One of my boys, DB, man, I forgot his name all of a sudden, but I had Eugene Daniel.
Gene, Lifford.
Early Sunday, late Sunday afternoon, coming back to Baton Rouge, making my way back.
So your mom made sure that you were going to take care of that family.
Yeah,
That's all right.
I knew she was going to have a good meal cooked for me too on Sunday.
So ain't nothing like mom cooking a meal.
Nothing wrong with going home.
so that's why to this day you still go home. I mean, you love home. You always been a homebody type of guy.
Well, Patterson's home for me. I haven't been much in the community in the past couple of years of being around, traveling or my opportunity of what I'm doing now. So, but life is good. I mean, I respect Patterson, the community, and the mayor and the chief of police over there is doing a great job for me.
Yeah, our friend, Mayor Rodney
Grogan.
We like, yeah, a dear friend, good brother. We were right next to our other friend over there, and the homeboy, the mayor of Franklin, brother Eugene Daniels. I'm Eugene Daniels. Eugene Fulcard. I'm thinking about Eugene Daniels. Eugene Fulcard.
He's a DB. It's one other DB that came back and played with us. We didn't mention his name. He was a DB. Eugene Daniels.
Yeah, but he was there with you.
Yes. He was my freshman year. I forgot. That's the other DB I couldn't think about.
Eugene Daniels.
Eugene Daniels.
Man.
Boy, he was a corner.
Well, y'all had 6 DBs on one team that made it up there.
Going back to that, I told you that defense was special, man. Eugene Daniels, Lifford Hobby, Jeffrey Dale. Alice Clark was also back there too. He's from Lake Charles too. He was
James Britt.
James Britt. Eugene Daniels, Jeffrey Dale.
Lifford Hobley.
Yeah.
Man, that's a whole lot of people.
Yeah, look at that defense, man. But anyway.
Now you had as a freshman a chance to play in a real big game. So the big game was what that again? The Orange Bowl.
Yeah, my freshman year I played in Orange Bowl.
So what was the Orange Bowl as a freshman? You one of the starting players in the Orange Bowl. How did you do in that game?
Well, I think we
now, who y'all played?
We played Nebraska. Believe it or not, we lost 21-22. Unfortunately, made some mistakes late in the game. Nebraska was a bigger team than us, physical. We had a great opportunity, a great chance. I think that should have been our national championship team. I remember my freshman year because, we lost to Tulane that year.
There was a fight on the field that year.
We tied Tennessee. We lost Mississippi State. So from my standpoint, we had a great time. We beat Alabama. We beat Florida in Florida. Bear Bryant last year. We beat Alabama. And that's one of my first televised games. And my mom finally had a color TV.
Y'all moved up, huh?
Moved up after a couple of games.
She saw her baby in color.
After a couple of games, we moved up to a color TV.
After you made the starting role, that things got a little better.
We ain't had the NIT money. What you call that now? We moved up to color TV, man. My mom seen me in Alabama on color TV.
Against the Bear Bryant, who was the baddest coach, like Nick Saban is today.
All kinds of little stories now. Mom watching the color TV Alabama game. First color
that was delivered to her for the reason to watch her baby play in color. Against Alabama. She didn't travel to the game.
No.
She was going to be the first. She'd be that front row watching them. She was the first one.
Yeah, they had a big party at the house. They had a big cookout there every time.
I mean, but now you go to LSU, you undersized, in your mind you thinking, man, what I've done here. I mean, when you get to the camp, you look at Gary James. Gary James almost 6 foot.
Everybody big.
Yeah. The running back.
Everybody big.
Jesse Ball.
Everybody big.
And you're like, man, what did I do here?
Yeah.
But then you line up on that field. It's become an equalizer.
Start to dance, man.
but you knew you could do that, but you didn't know if you're gonna work at this level.
I didn't know what I could have done. I just went out there and played the kind of game I played when I was in high school. So there was nothing that was shortness of. There was a confidence within myself wanted to do it.
Oh, okay, because you watch your brothers them play, you watch, you know what you can do.
Right.
But can I do it on this level?
Right, can I do this level? I'm not going to tell you, yeah, I knew I could have done this. No, I had no wildest imagination. This is what I could accomplish. I was just thankful for the opportunity to be there and have opportunity. And I was fortunate to take advantage of it, you know. And honestly, my plan was if I didn't make it, then I would try to go to a smaller school.
That was your backup plan.
That was my backup plan.
And you ended up doing well enough to go to the next level.
Right.
Now, what was that like for you? Because the Saints have drafted very few LSU players, even to this day. Very few.
Very surprised. Honestly, I thought I was going to get drafted by the Detroit Lions. From I remember the scouts looking at me a bit, possibly going late second round to the point.
Now hold on now. So about 82, 84, 85, 86 years?
Yeah, that'd be my 86 year.
86. Now the drafts, they can kind of dictate a little bit better now what round you probably go in. When I came out, they were still kind of guessing what round. So now they can tell you you're going to go,
Right.
you know, in the second round, but it'd probably be late because so-and-so looking for a running back. That's because they knew who had the choices, right? So now you wouldn't show about LSU. Now you're at LSU. Now you're performing at a high level. You're doing great. The NFL draft, the '86 NFL draft coming into play. Now what that feeling like for you when you found out that, oh man, I didn't just get a chance to start at LSU. I got a great chance of getting drafted. Give us that experience.
Well, knowing that you've done and accomplished some goals and things you want to achieve, and, you know, people finally saying you're big enough to play at a level that they wasn't aware of. You know, now it's NFL. You know, first I was too small to go to LSU. You know, oh no, and I can hear a few things my brothers tell my people say, man, you're too small. People say, you know, prove them wrong. You know, and now it's the same thing. Now I have a chance to prove them wrong that I can play in the NFL. You know, my mom was always concerned about them big old boys hitting.
The baby, the baby. Yeah.
So, you know, to stay healthy and never be on that ground and never see me get carted off was my thing, you know. And,
So in college, you never got...
Yeah, I'm jumping up, popping up, regardless of what kind of injury I had, knee injury or ankle.
Because you don't want mom, you know, because
me on that ground.
So I'm going to get up, run to the sideline for any kind of problem.
And I did that in the NFL. I missed 10 games after that. I didn't stay on the ground. But I partially tear my knee. But to be drafted and get opportunity, you know.
But when the conversation of going into the '86 draft started, and you realized that your dream could come true, I could get drafted.
Yeah, they even had me briefly hyped up for the Heisman for 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You know, I took a picture in the front of a magazine. You know, he's the man, Hilliard for Heisman kind of thing. So
your senior year.
My senior year, I had a little flow going on, but didn't quite get to the third or fourth week of productivity to be mentioned amongst those guys. So, you know,
yeah, you got to be doing 100 yards a game.
Yeah, you got to have those numbers really.
And you still spend time with Gary?
Yeah, we always spent time all the time. But it was still a little hype. You know, I enjoyed the ride with it and the exposure with it.
Okay.
And the draft came around to the point where I'm sitting at home, me and my wife, and my baby girl had a baby in high school with my fiance at the time, and we sitting in our apartment in Patterson, you know, by ourselves, just watching the draft. And we watched the first round go through, and then we come back and watch the second round, and they get a phone call right there, and asked me would I like to play.
Now, what pick in the second round?
I don't know. It's probably around 4 or 5 or something. Gary James got picked right before me.
Now, both were the second round.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And the scouts in all them told me Gary had, you know, the ability to turn the corner, breakaway speed, and he would get drafted from me. And the scout from Detroit said that he was contemplating both us around which one he would pick. You know how the scouts did tell you certain things. And I said, okay, it's a possibility. I might get drafted by Detroit. But at that time, I knew Gary wasn't picked when Detroit came up. So I was thinking, I might have a chance, but Gary's not picked yet. And it's probably, I don't know what to pick. It's probably 3 or 4 in the second round. So I was a high.
First round.
High
second round.
Yeah. And, you know, and so I seen Detroit take Gary. You know, I had no notion that New Orleans was really looking for a running back because I never seen a scout from New Orleans at the time. I was the little running combines we had here on campus. And when New Orleans came up, they contacted me and asked me would I like to come out to the Saints, and I had to say nothing but yeah, even though they never had to win the season. I'm like, well, I'm at my home, baby. I'm not going too far. We right here.
I'm going where my mom don't want me to go to. But mom don't want me to do all this, but maybe it might be a little bit different now.
Yeah. So, you know, to have the opportunity to be drafted is a blessed thing.
Now, what coach you played under?
Jim Moore, first year when he came to New Orleans, you know, coming in with Jim Moore, and I think we had a great pick of, you know, draft pick. Jim Nebraska was the first one pick. It was the offensive lineman, then myself in the second round, and we had, you know, Pasquale, a linebacker, came in. He was picked that year, and we had Ruben Mays, a running back, was picked. So we had Barry Ward, another running back, picked that season. Matter of fact, and Gail Kennedy came in too. I don't know if he's picked late or he just transferred in, but you know they picked two more running backs after me, so they needed some help in that position.
Now, so now you are the first, but you're the first draft, first running back that they picked.
Right.
In the 86 draft. Now, but you know your chances of being on that team is really good. I'm gonna be here for a little while.
Yeah, you know, the second round pick, you're gonna get opportunity.
You're gonna get a shot.
Yeah.
But the money's still with no big money in it.
No.
It just, but you can build up to that.
Right. And I had the pleasure of, you know, going there and guys getting bigger and bigger as you go.
But hold on, was George Rogers still?
No, the running back they had there, man, Earl Campbell.
Earl
was there the year before there, and he was there.
And y'all built something like.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting that guy, man, as a legend.
Easy going, just like you, easy going guy.
Back, relaxing, he texting me, telling me, you know, certain things, and seeing him play and perform throughout training camp. You know, I sat there with him, and also, you know, Willie Nelson. You know, hang out with them at the hotel, and watching him play, and Earl communicate with him, and we talk, sitting in the hot tub jacuzzi after practice and stuff. But
man, that's real. You sit
had a great time, man. Yeah, man, the legend, Earl Campbell.
Okay, so now I came out in '81 draft with George Rogers. You know, George was the #1 back.
Right.
But George and Ricky Jackson was two of the guys that when we went to these combines, they was always arguing and fussing with one another. I think I told you that story.
They still do that.
I'm so interested. I knew it arguing and fussing with each other.
They still do today.
But the best of friends.
Right. They're still the best of friends
today. And that was always interesting to me, how those two were just, we were sitting in Dallas. And we get up in the morning, we go and eat breakfast. Them two up there arguing and fussing. Like, man, come on now. What they gonna do? I'm gonna run over with you. I'm gonna run to you. So yeah, that was always interesting. So you had a chance. So George was gone. So you really the #1 guy now.
Yeah, and Jim Moore really wanted to carve out his players, his scheme, his offensive scheme, and the way they did it. And unfortunate for the style of offensive scheme and Earl, you know, being able to cut and bounce it outside and, you know, cut it way back, and the philosophy probably didn't fit his style. And, you know, we all have our chances and opportunities, and as we get older, the things we used to do, we just not able to do them things anymore. And unfortunately, a new team structure around that, and he retired that year. You know?
So you didn't get a chance to play with him?
I had the honor of playing with him with 4 preseason games, and they released him.
Yeah, he was a big, strong, brutal.
Earl just wanted that pound and try to move the hill. That's what he did, straight down here. And we used to bounce it. We used to cut it all the way back from right tackle to left tackle. You know, Earl gonna hit that thing right in the A gap, right in the B gap.
Whatever guy you told me to go through, that's where you go.
He's gonna, you know, step right, cross over, and go straight downhill.
But it's the man, Earl Campbell, that most people don't know. He's a good guy, one of the good, caring guy. He's a good old country boy out of Texas. Matter of fact, I was in Austin, Texas, quite a few years ago, and I saw a barbecue place with his name on it. And I went in there. He was sitting right there. So I sat down and we played against each other a couple of times when I was in Atlanta. He was in Houston, and we had played against each other a few times. So we got a chance to talk about some things, but I heard now physically he's not as mobile anymore.
I've heard the same thing, but you know, I haven't seen or spoken to him in quite some time. I'm always wishing him well because of the great player and the person that he is in my eyes. Always wishing him well.
And so now but you and Gary James, y'all going your own separate ways now. You start. How many years you played with the Saints?
I had the ability and fortune to play 8 years. You know,
8 years.
8 years in the Navy. Yeah, quite a few injuries, you know, but I had a great time, a great experience. Great to be home. Met some great players along the way that I played with, still friends today. And wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, used to do the golf tournament every year. We missed that, man. We're gonna get back on board with that.
But it takes time to do that.
That's a process.
That's a process. So I look forward to having an opportunity to do it again.
I mean, so you've done that for how many years? 10 years? 2 years?
I had an opportunity to do it about maybe 5, 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was tied in with my company and having players come in to network and meet different all-field related people, customers, or anything that endeavors that they are doing during this time. A lot of support and a lot of help within the staff, within my office to do it, and had opportunity to support my high school and do it with them as well. At Shipyard in Panama City, volunteers here locally in Louisiana and also in Mississippi, and performers. Energy here in the Houma, Louisiana area, and quite a few other companies, Conrad Shipyard in Morgan City area. And so I've been very fortunate since about 97, being in the staffing business, still is today, supplying skilled labor throughout the Gulf Coast, different fabrication shipyards.
Okay, so, and that's just something that you jumped on board and it's worked for you all these years.
Yeah, I teamed up.
You mastered it now.
I'm teamed up with some great people and still learning. I never mastered it.
Still learning
the process of understanding and trying to figure things out as we go.
Now in Louisiana, we know shipbuilding was a big thing with McDermott and Avondale shipyards.
Right.
But did you would send also crews out there to the rigs at one time?
Well, yeah, I had a variety of other business that didn't go well for me, and that's part of learning as entrepreneurship as an individual, plus myself after playing football, trying to see what's next for Dalton, Hilliard. So I had other various companies and trying an opportunity that I wasn't successful with, and that was one of them, offshore division, sending people offshore as well. Was part of my staffing division. Right now, everyone that works for service special, we work on land, so we don't do any offshore at this time.
Because, as a matter of fact, probably when you got into business, they probably had about almost 2,000 oil rigs out there in the Gulf. They'd have reduced that down to maybe 200 or less, I heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of less inland water drilling. Everybody's drilling deeper. Out in the Gulf, you had a lot of shallow water rigs drilling at the time throughout the industry, and that part of the industry, have gone to other means of support. So things change, and you just have to try to diversify and find your other niche. And that's where I'm at, and I've been fortunate to continue having the staffing business that I have and doing what I'm doing in this industry, but working with some good people together finally.
They creating opportunities, creating jobs for young people, people who really want to work.
Correct, and that's what it's all about. I have brothers who's worked in all industry as well as in fitters, and now I have the opportunity to run our own staffing agent that help that and support that industry. Started off with a good friend of mine, Joe Nato, and I, who worked in this business and teamed up together and started it together and started involved with it. And now, we both are going different ways, but we are both in this industry still doing what we understand and realize. And so hopefully the opportunity is still here. So I'm looking forward to a lot more ventures and challenges.
Now we talked about you mentioned the NIL, which is name, image, and likeness. Who these days, the athletes across the board can make money, can sell their name, can get paid for the use of their name, their image, or likeness. Now, Dalton Hilliard, they had that at the time with Dalton Hilliard. He was a Heisman Trophy candidate and all these things. So, what would be the value of Dalton Hilliard at that
I
time?
kind of figured that question was coming. You building up to what would be my value. I don't know. I really don't know, Lana, but you know.
Because we got a few little dollars up here and there and tickets.
You know, we had an opportunity to play football and get education, and that's all was offered to us at one time, and that was the goal, and that's all I knew. I mean, I wasn't highly recruited coming out of high school. I didn't have a big booster. Hey, Dalton, go to LSU coming out of my high school year. I ain't had none of that. You know, no one knew anything about me going to LSU until I signed the dotted line and just got in the paper. Wow, Dalton, he's too small. Why the heck he's going to LSU?
What was he think? What is he thinking? He ain't gonna play over there out of all places.
Until I scored a few touchdowns against Oregon State my freshman year, then they realized, okay, that's Dalton. Oregon State, man, scoring 2 or 3 touchdowns. Gary and I both probably had 100 yards and over together, and people started to realize who we were. Well, a little bit who I was, but they knew who Gary was for sure. But I don't know, the money that's given now out to these young players is a blessing. I just wish they would monitor. I'm a team player, I'm a team person. I wish everybody was equal, and this war is not equal. You know how they say it. I wish everybody was equally in college, was able to receive the same amount and put it in the pool and justifiably split it all up any kind of way that they can do better with it. Because I think individuality at a young age, you know, pinpointing that kind of money before they have their professional job in this area, you know, it brings some jealousy, it brings some perspective about it, probably amongst the teammates or whatever. You never can tell. But we all want to just play football.
And enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game.
Yeah, you want to make a name for yourself.
You want to make a name for yourself.
So when you start talking about this kind of, for example, you're the running back. Okay, now no matter how great a running back you are, it requires team effort on your part. Somebody got to block for you.
You can't do it in, you know, baseball unless you're hitting a home run after home run, hit after hit. You know, it's still a team game to win the game. But you can have individual stats, but you can't win the game by yourself. Somebody got to catch a ball in the field for you. Get a guy out for you to go back and back. So,
it don't matter.
It don't matter. It's still a team sport.
The next guy got to come up.
Yeah, somebody got to help something out. But you know, individuality goes and, you know, should be awarded and be noticeable. But I just think the money that how they doing it right now is unjust.
It's going to lead to some
it's going to lead to a little bit more than.
Matter of fact, I had an attorney, Carlos Hornbrook, mentioned when I interviewed him that they believe that he called to speak to the people at the NCAA regarding NIL. They have no answers, no structure, no direction on where it's going, because when it started, they couldn't shut it down, because if you shut it down, these people are here to the coaches are benefiting from all this money that's being paid. The coaches can go to switch schools, they can take a job wherever they want to take a job. So how the players can't have some of the same benefits, which I do agree with. The players have some of the same benefits, but when you start paying this kind of money to the players, now the best ones, yeah, I think the best, if the money is because of Dalton Hilliard done this here, Dalton Hilliard make this happen. You know, let's take the money, put it in the pool, let's get Dalton a greater percentage because of him, but let's make sure that everybody else get a piece of the pie too. That's what you're saying? That's how you
I just think that the NCAA just should have a certain amount of money for all the colleges, justification that they can have and get from the boosters or however they're getting this money and put it into a point where, hey, everybody's getting the same thing, man. No matter what you do on the field at college level. I mean, you have the right to go to the NFL or go to the next level. I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem, you know, probably people have attitudes. And you got a guy who's a young kid coming out of high school and making $1 million. I'm fresh 19 out of high school coming and signing in. as a freshman, give me $1 million.
Then what can you tell me?
What can you tell me after that? Yeah, do I have a mindset to even want to go get education? Or do I have a mindset I need to go straight to the pros, go to the next level, keep moving? I don't know. I just think everybody should be equal. $100 should be spent amongst everybody on the team. Everybody just have fun, man. Football was fun back then.
So they taking the fun out of it.
In my opinion, of the perspective, because everybody's supportive. I know that's a lot more money being made in this industry. And then a lot more money should be given out equally. I just believe in equal opportunity. And I know everything is not equal to a point, but some things you can monitor better. And they didn't have a plan for this, I don't think. And I think they need to have a better plan for it.
And that's what I'm telling you about Carlos. He said they think the NCAA who put it in motion, they put the responsibility on all the universities. You got to figure out what you're gonna do. Now everything else, the NCAA run it, but now they're gonna tell the universities that you decide what you want to do in your state or however you want to do it.
Right.
And then once it implore, then the NCAA will be the one to come and save the universities from, I told y'all this, we're going to do it this way now. So I don't know that what they setting up or what, because something got to happen. There's a whole lot of money flowing through there now.
Well, it's just something I don't think they can control unless they put the brakes on everything.
You got to shut it all down. And it's hard to do that.
Yeah, it's hard to do that from my understanding. The little bit I do know about it, but I just wish they would have a little bit more thought process in it before opening the gate, Because I'm always about equal opportunity. I don't have a problem making $100. My boy making $100. I don't care what I do in the field. At a college level. Now you're going to professional level. I'm taking care of my family. Okay. I'm at a college level trying to get education, enjoy life, and have a great time. Then make it a professional level at that college level. You want to do it, yeah? Go ahead and do what you want to do, man.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Make it a professional level. You want to make it a professional level.
If you want to go to school, let them go to school.
Yeah.
But don't call it no student athlete.
Yeah, that's not to the point of that point of athlete at that point. My belief. I enjoy the way it used to be. But free agency is what it is, Who would adjust? I grew up watching and loving to see, someone play on that team and have that kind of rivalry all the time, back in the days. But free agency came and a lot of players have the ability to move and better themselves. I understand that at a professional level.
But free agency on the college level.
College level.
And that's basically what it is. I didn't think about it like that, but it's free agency.
It's free agency on the college level.
That's a great. They call it the transfer portal.
I used to watch the Cowboys and Redskins, and I know the combination of the rivalry, and I used to be able to see who's there all the time and used to that rivalry. I was set at a mindset on that every year, knowing that player,
who's going to be there,
who's going to be there, who's going to be that rivalry, who's going to be all together. But when I played the game and free agency came about, I went on strike for free agency. Okay, but that's the way they're taking care of their family. That's a professional level. So I begin to understand.
To make sure that they get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, to make sure they get the net worth in this business. NFL is a business. That's what it is. It's a sport, but it's a business.
But as we see now, universities
the college level, it's going to be a business itself.
It's a big business.
Yeah, it's a business itself. It's a student athlete, but in the sense of a college, you can still say kid. Young man and young lady, I'm not calling them kids, but justifiably, they have the ability to do what is given to them, and I don't blame them, and I would be doing the same thing, okay? But I just think it just needs to be tapered and monitored and adjusted to equal opportunity, equal and more consistent for each player that's around there.
Because everybody gonna be fighting for money now, because all the money going to the players. So what's gonna happen to the university now? They ain't gonna be the money that they used to get from the different donors. Now the whole folks gonna be the student athletes, and there are quite a few student athletes on the university campus. So the student athletes now gonna be making more money than the professors, the coaches. I mean, it's something to look at now. when you start thinking about it like that?
Well, we just have to see how it goes, man. Be patient and hope the respect of the game at the college level is still there. You know, and you have that the attitude that some players may get because I'm making all this money. Well, I gotta listen to you. You know, it's to that point where you know you have that coach, you know, coaching you, and this player's like, "Hey, I'm making more money than you. What you tell me to do something." I'm used to the time where the coach would tell me something, and I'm gonna listen. Okay. I'm just afraid to the point that coach gonna tell my mom on it, then I have a problem. So, but that's how life was. But what we in right now, these young men and young ladies are taking advantage of opportunity that's given to them. And I just wish them well, wish them the best, and go get what you can get because it's there and it's available. Why not?
Yeah, so you use that for your future.
Yeah, for your family.
Because everybody can't play pro sports.
No. So
that it does create opportunity and generate revenues to better position a young man and a young woman.
Yes, it does.
For their future. So that is something that we never seen. If you didn't make pro sports, a lot of guys was stuck. Like, okay, well, now what I'm gonna do? Mm-hmm. You still got to figure that out even afterwards. Mm-hmm. But at least it's gonna give them something to work with. Because one time, you know, when you finished college, you didn't play pro sports. Like,
it's 8 years after the league, man. I'm still, you know, figuring out what I'm doing. You know,
that's
so
true.
You still got to do
do
what you got to do to take care of yourself and do better. You want more because, you know, the NFL is it's not for long.
Not for long, man.
Yeah. So, you know, who's going to give you $100,000 after you get released or you get fired? $100,000 job, you know, making that kind of money back when we made and what they're making now. But you just hopefully got to manage yourself and wishing everyone the best and doing the best you can for the life you have and what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish.
But even like with you built your future. Now you still, we over here at the hotel doing the interview that you've been staying in for how long?
2 years I've been living in this place. It's a hotel, great staff, great place, man. You know,
treating you well, but for 2 years.
2 years. August will be. I've been, you know, at this place because of Hurricane Ida and the devastation, destruction of my home. But you have to adjust, man. You have to keep moving no matter what you go through in life. You have to realize that, you know, nothing is going to stand still for you. You know,
that's amazing. Huh?
Nothing's going to stand still for you.
Since you said, let me tell you my story, right? When I had my last knee surgery, I went through that, I guess what you call depression. You don't realize what's happening, right? I went through the depression because when I went to Gainesville Hospital, I had Mr. Fields, Jimmy Fields, and Jerry McKernan, and a few other people working with me. So I had my third operation, was talking about amputating my leg. Now, I'm the big football star, right? So I go up to the Gainesville. I flew up there by myself. I didn't take no family, didn't take my mom. I didn't want nobody feeling sorry for me. Right. Unfortunately, we athletes, right? I can handle this. So I go into the room. They do all kind of X-rays. They get me ready. It's a teaching hospital. So Dr. Ennerking, who was my doctor, he walked there with a large staff of people. I guess student, residents, whatever you call them again. We getting ready. They 10, 12 people in the room. They looking at the leg, getting assessed it. They say, but this is what we see. We see that tumor have come back, and these are the possibilities. We gonna first need for you to fill out paperwork. Okay, now I'm by myself. I don't have mom or dad with me, right? Okay, while I'm filling out the paperwork, we need to fill out paperwork because this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go into that knee, and we're gonna do what we're gonna put a donor bone in your knee. We're gonna cut the knee at the place where the tumor is. We're gonna move all that out, cut that whole joint out, the whole knee, that bone. We're gonna remove that bone and put a donor bone. So we need your consent, because also, if that tumor has spread it up much higher, wow, we're gonna have to amputate your leg. And we can't wake you up to ask you, we let you come through and go back and say, okay, we need to cut the leg. So we need to get the consent now. Mm-hmm. DT, I'm listening to him talk. When everybody left that room, as a grown man, I felt like a child. I want my mama now, right? Like, did you hear what the people said? I have nobody to communicate this back with. I'm by myself in there, right? You know, I'm by myself in this room. I had one, matter of fact, a guy come did an interview on me at that time, and I forgot the guy. A guy in Gainesville came to the interview with me about that situation, but it was after the surgery. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm crying, I got snot running out of my nose, I'm feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, all this stuff is going through your mind, Lord. You know, now I say, Lord, why did you get married? Ain't nobody gonna want no man with one leg. You know, all this stuff going through your mind, right? And I'm on my knees praying, Lord. You know, at that time you're saying, why, Lord, why me? But when things was going great for you, you didn't ask, Lord, why me? You know, when things were used, you know, at LSU doing great, in the NFL doing you. Now, one time you asked, Lord, why me, right? And so when things didn't work in my favor, you know, I'm thinking, Lord, why me? And I'm sitting in the room, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I can't even explain to you where I'm at as a young man, right? So I'm sitting there, but they come get me early that morning. They bring me to the operating room. I'm looking around. I see saws, chisels, hammers. I'm thinking, where am I at? You know, you know, so they get ready to, you know, get to work. But I don't remember how long it was later. I woke up. When I woke up, they had my foot in a sling sitting up high. When I saw my foot, I went back to sleep. I knew my leg was still there. Now I knew they had made it straight, but I knew my leg was there, right? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, okay, I still got it, because just thinking about not having a leg, right? So the alternative, that shows you how the mind works, right? When the alternative, it could be where not having a leg or having a leg, but you can't bend it, but you'll be able to walk like, I want my leg. You know? I understand, man. So that time came to me, bro, and I saw my foot. Now I come back home, and you go into this state where you're feeling depressed, you're feeling bad for yourself. You know, Lord, why me? What I'm gonna do now? What is my purpose? Why am I still here? You know, and then let me tell you, I gotta share this experience with you, man. I'm sitting in my house in Baton Rouge, and I go into a deep dream or something. And all of a sudden, I wake up, and I look around like everything is closed off. I'm in a room by myself, just me. I don't want to be bothered with nobody. I don't want to even talk to nobody. And I look to the door. The door got about 6, 7 locks on it, right? Really? I locked myself inside. Okay. I locked myself inside. Now remember, I don't know if it's a dream or it's for real. I'm just going through this process. So I walk to the door, and I'm thinking, oh, I locked myself inside. How long have I been in here? Because time had gone by. Then I unleash all these latches, and I finally open the door, and I look outside. What I see now, I see cars look like airplanes. They're no longer on the streets, cars are flying. Really? I'm like, oh, what happened? How long have I been? What happened is that I realized that although I had shut myself off from society, that life still went on. Yes, you just gotta keep with you or without you. It just doesn't stay still. And nothing stopped me because I had shut myself off from the world. Yeah. Now that was a wonderful experience, because you know what happened 3 months later? I had the buffalo wings came to be because I had to make up my mind. If I'm gonna get busy living, or get busy dying. So that was my experience that I had that kind of took me, you know, because since you brought this up, took me somewhere that I never anticipated on being, but it helped me to grow, it helped me to mature. Right. So we all had those kind of experiences. So.
Life is full of experiences and things you go through the individual. My philosophy is always going to be that you just got to keep moving in some way, some perspective, find a way to understand it, deal with it, and progressively, you know, learn from it, and, you know, strengthen yourself, strengthen your mind. You know, and I always see myself that, you know, my mind is going to challenge me
Your mind is gonna challenge you.
My mind is going to challenge me in ways that you never think of, but you still have to find a way to keep moving. So, to keep moving, keep growing, then you develop it. So, life is full of challenges, brother.
And it continues, whether it's in sports or whether you just in regular life.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank my dear friend and brother here,
Yeah.
Dalton Hilliard, for
Appreciate
taking
you,
time
brother.
out, my brother.
Much
And,
respect, much love to you.
oh man, likewise, man. And you've always shown a lot of love and a lot of respect to all. So not just me, to all. And we all hold you in high esteem and someone who've always been close to so many of us. And thank you, my brother, for taking the time and being part of Count Time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Okay, D.
On
Thank you,
board.
man.
All right. Sure. Thank you.